The X-Men are a group of superheroes that are personally probably one of my favorite groups of superheroes of all time, even surpassing the likes of the Avengers and even the Justice League. Now, I really do care about each and every character on the X-Men, well, most of the characters at least the relevant ones, but what would happen if my boy Goku from Dragon Ball Z, Super, or the original, whatever you want to call it, basically what if Goku was a part of my favorite group of mutants? Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, that is what me and Legacy Comics are going to be talking about today. And lastly, before we start, be sure to go check out Legacy Comics down in the description. He does Marvel and any really kind of comic book content, including DC and other variant comic books. So with that being said, everyone, let's get right into part 1 of What If Goku Was in the X-Men.
Hey, collecting rings like a Sonic. Bitches wanna party. Virus getting heavy, so I got 'em on a diet, yeah. Flex like I'm Hogan. Yo, bitch coming over. We respect.
We start our story off with Goku being launched to Earth thanks to Bardock doing so before planet Vegeta's destruction. However, unlike his canonical self, he actually lands in front of a gated institution for the Gifted, also known as Charles Xavier's School for Mutants. Now, when he actually arrives, he would actually open up the Saiyan pod, being confused as to where he had landed, and he would be immediately met with a man in a wheelchair, also known as Charles Xavier, a girl, also known as Aurora, aka Storm, and lastly, along with a man with a visor, also known as Scott Summers, aka Cyclops. They would see the little defenseless kid just come out of the sky in this pod and are confused as to how he did and why. This kid would be friendly with Cyclops and Storm and be in a playful mood, which Aurora finds adorable, but as this happens they would then see the kid's tail, and the professor is now curious if this is potentially a mutant. They decide to take him for studies, but in the meantime Goku would be introduced to the rest of the X-Men, and this version of the X-Men isn't really a specific version. This is the Dragon Ball X-Men, aka my version, and this does take some inspirations from different types of X-Men media, such as X-Men Blue, and the designs of the mansion being similar to that of the X-Men Evolution's mansion. The team would be composed of Storm, Cyclops, Iceman, Beast, Marvel Girl, aka Jean Grey, and Rogue. Point is, this is a different type of X-Men, and this is a completely new iteration of the X-Men, and you guys need to understand that. Now, after some research, Professor X actually would come to find some sort of similarity between Goku and mutants, but he does know that they're not the same thing, and Goku kind of has like an evolved mutant distinction that makes him seem very different compared to other mutants. He seems a lot more powerful, or some similar mutant gene is very more dominant than other mutants. So with that being said, whenever Goku is resting in another room, Professor X would tell the rest of the X-Men about this, and Professor X is really confused as to what he's going to do with the boy. They can't just leave him out on the streets, and this man does have some similarity, or this boy has some similarity to that of a mutant, so they could just keep him in for now and basically make him an exception, right? The X-Men don't really have anything against a child joining the Institute, and they can actually all train him up and make him a powerful mutant. Or, as Iceman would give him the idea, a powerful X-Men. At that point, Professor X actually considers this idea, since it would be a pretty good idea to have another one on the team, and so they actually add in Goku to the Institute. So as time goes by, Goku would actually train with the rest of the X-Men, and Goku would frequently train with the likes of Beast, since Beast is pretty powerful and Goku does like Beast's wild personality. Even at times, Iceman and Cyclops join in on the training session, since they do believe a good workout is, well, a good workout, and they should probably get a bunch of good workouts in. So at that point, Iceman, Cyclops, Beast, and Goku just have a free-for-all, and it's pretty interesting. Eventually, one night, a full moon would be dazing over Goku's window, and Goku, seeing the moon, would feel a weird reaction. He then grows in size and eventually forms into a great ape, accidentally destroying the whole mansion. Luckily, the X-Men managed to survive this, but now they must deal with this great ape Goku. Now, at first, the likes of Beast and Iceman would actually step up first, Iceman trying to restrain Goku as Beast relentlessly does a bunch of combos on the Great Ape's leg. However, all he can get out of this Great Ape Goku is a tickle, and Goku just kicks Beast to the side. Iceman tries his best to use all of his powers into restraining Goku, and he does manage to restrain him for a couple of seconds before Great Ape Goku then overpowers Iceman's ice and slams him into the ground, knocking him out cold. No pun intended. Now, at that point, Storm, Jean, and Rogue would actually try and 3v1 the Beast, as Cyclops tries to come up with an idea, and at times helping the girls, shooting a bunch of laser beams at the Great Ape's back. However, to no avail, this does nothing, and Goku just smacks away the 3 girls like it's nothing and smacks away Scott's visor. However, Cyclops reacts to this in time and closes his eyes before his visor gets off his face, so that he doesn't blast one of his teammates accidentally, or even blast the Great Ape accidentally. or blast him with too much power. At that point, Cyclops then has an idea, and he tells them to either help him get his visor or help Cyclops aim at Goku's tail. At that point, the Rogue, Storm, and Jean would be a little bit confused, but Jean and Rogue decide to try and restrain the Great Ape Goku, with Jean keeping Goku in a mental barrier and Storm using a bunch of lightning bolts to paralyze Goku for Jean to basically allow her to use her mental barrier to trap Goku. So this weakened Goku at that point is just kind of standing in Jean's mental barrier, and he would eventually break out of it, and at that point Rogue would help Cyclops aim his eyes at the Great Ape's tail, and so he then unleashes his full power, cutting the Great Ape's tail pretty easily, and this would then revert Goku back into his base form and as a child again. Now, of course, over the course of the next couple of weeks, the mansion would be rebuilt, and Goku would basically apologize to the group, saying that he didn't know that his tail would lead him to transforming into a Great Ape, and he doesn't even remember anything. And the group is, they're accepting Goku's apology, but they do warn him that they should probably cut off his tail permanently, and Goku is just fine with that. He then accepts it. So his tail is cut off permanently, and they don't have to worry about Goku transforming into a gorilla ever again. Now, at that point, we would then get the new mansion being built eventually, and they would start doing their training once again. Goku would eventually grow into about 15 years old, where he would just keep up his training and master all of his skills, becoming even more powerful than the likes of Beast and even faster than the likes of Iceman, and even more tactical fighting strategy than the likes of Cyclops. So yeah, Goku has a lot of potential, however, he's just simply too young to become an X-Men. However, one day when the X-Men are out on a mission, stopping the Brotherhood, Goku and Professor X would stay back since Goku hasn't really shown to be battle ready yet, since he is a little bit inexperienced, and Professor X just kind of stays back most of the time, so obviously Professor X would stay back from fighting the Brotherhood with the X-Men. Now, as Goku and Professor X are currently vibing, the alarms of the house would actually go off, detecting an intruder outside, and it's apparently the Juggernaut. He's actually escaped from jail, attempting to get revenge on Charles for locking him away all those years ago.
Goku would be the only one who could defend the Professor, so with all of his power, Goku lunges towards Juggernaut with a powerful punch. The Juggernaut would be hit with a powerful blow that he could feel throughout the front of his body, but Juggernaut quickly brushes off the punch and goes for his own punch that not only sends Goku crashing through the ground, but for a moment leaves him in a state of shock. Juggernaut would proceed to walk to where Professor X is, destroying the house in the process. And this enrages Goku, and in this instance, Goku powers up, releasing him from his state of shock, and he is now ready to battle. Goku charges towards Juggernaut, sending him through the mansion and into the front yard, and then he gets into a stance. I've been training every day to perform this technique. Let's hope it works. Then he would shout Kamehameha, and a blue beam would suddenly be launched out of Goku's hands, and eventually crash into Juggernaut, sending him flying back and doing some decent damage. However, Juggernaut would only get enraged by this and charge at Goku with all of his force. Goku then does the same thing and says he will not let Juggernaut destroy his home. They clash for 3 seconds before Goku is overpowered by the Juggernaut and then is sent flying into the mansion. Goku, barely alive at this point, gets up and promises to keep fighting, when all of a sudden, as Juggernaut rushes towards Goku once again, he is suddenly struck down by an optic blast and a lightning bolt. It's Storm and Cyclops. At that point, Rogue and Iceman and the others arrive as well and thank Goku for his help. Goku walks towards the group and says he may be near death, but he knows he still has the best chance against Juggernaut. The group is going to need to help him though, if they have any wish of defeating Juggernaut. And so the group then decides to try their best to assist Goku. Professor X warns them in their heads before they fight, and it's about Juggernaut's weakness. If they can get rid of his helmet, Professor X can get into his head and weaken him for the group to strike. And so the group now knows what they have to do. They all charge into battle, Cyclops and Storm spraying heavy attacks at Juggernaut. Iceman and Jean would sneak behind him, restraining him, while Beast and Rogue charge in head-on with Goku. Beast uses his force to smack down Juggernaut, and Goku then stops in front of Juggernaut, powering up a Kamehameha. Rogue then removes the locks and releases the helmet off of Juggernaut, but in that instant, Juggernaut overpowers Beast, Iceman, and Jean, and then smacks Rogue. Rogue quickly rushes towards Juggernaut, touching him and slowly taking his powers. Juggernaut still can stand and fight because he is a monster, and Rogue and Juggernaut get into a brutal battle. Rogue wins due to her superior skill. In that instance, Charles gets into Juggernaut's head, telling Goku to finish it. Goku then fires off a fully powered Kamehameha that Juggernaut manages to tank, but it knocks him down unconscious immediately after. The X-Men will win win at the end of the day thanks to Goku, and with this battle happening, the X-Men are now convinced that Goku should be a part of missions more frequently, which is funny because Charles had a mission in mind for Beast and Rogue, but Goku can tag along. Goku excitedly asks him what it is, and Professor X would then tell him it's a requirement mission for a new team member. He's out in the far, cold areas, just kinda driving around and having adamantium claws. He goes by Logan.
And that, my friends, is where we're going to be leaving things off for right now. Now, if you guys do want a part 2, be sure to hit the like button. Also, comment down below. Also, consider hitting that subscribe and notification bell. That way, you're notified and updated every time I upload. And with that being said, be sure to follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Remember, like how I put in the beginning of the video, this video's like goal will be 1,000 likes. 1,000 likes, and part 2 will be in the near future. Like I said in the intro, be sure to go subscribe to Legacy Comics, as he did help out tremendously by recording 3 minutes of audio and saving me a lot of time. And with that being said, everyone, my name is Tyler, and I'm going to get up out of here. Peace out. Thank you guys for watching.